23. Muriel. I admire Favilla's novels, but she does not deserve to be considered a great writer. The point is that no matter how distinctive her style may be, her subject matter is simply not varied enough. John. I think you are wrong to use that criterion. A great writer does not need any diversity in subject matter. However, a great writer must at least have the ability to explore a particular theme deeply. And the question asks, John's statements commit him to which one of the following positions? So we are looking closer at John's statements, and we want to find something that must be true about John's statements. So John, just to go over what he said again, he thinks that Muriel was wrong to use that criterion. What was Muriel's criterion? She was saying that the subject matter of Favilla's novels was simply not varied enough, right? So John is saying, hey, that's not a great criterion to judge what makes a good novel, right? He's saying a great writer does not need any diversity in subject matter. So he's saying we don't need this criterion at all. A great writer must at least have the ability to explore a particular theme deeply. So John does think that a great writer needs to be able to explore a theme deeply, right? So that's what he does support in a great writer. He thinks that's the minimum condition, right? He's saying like that's the bar. At least this, like a great writer has to at least be able to explore a theme deeply. So let's check out our answers. A, even if the subject matter in Favilla's writings is not particularly varied, she should not thereby be excluded from being considered a great writer. So even if the subject matter is not particularly varied, which John does agree with, right? This first part, John definitely agrees with, because John is saying pretty much the same exact thing, right? A great writer does not need diversity in subject matter. So even if it isn't varied, she should not thereby be excluded from being considered a great writer. So again, that sentence, a great writer does not need any diversity in subject matter, fits that part, right? Favilla doesn't necessarily need to be excluded just because her writing's not particularly varied, right? That's what the first two sentences of John's statement are, the first two parts, right, of John's statement are really saying. So A seems like it could be a really good answer, but we should keep reading. B, even if Favilla cannot explore any particular theme deeply in her writings, she should not thereby be excluded from being considered a great writer. So, actually, so John would disagree with that, right? John actually says the opposite. John is saying to be considered a great writer, you need to be able to explore a theme deeply, right? That's the minimum condition. You need to at least have that ability. So John would directly disagree with B. C, if Favilla has explored some particular theme exceptionally deeply in her writings, she deserves to be considered a great writer. Okay, so this word here, right, this wording, at least, that makes this minimum condition, right? Just because they have that condition doesn't make them a great writer. John is just saying a great writer must at least have this quality, right? So could you be a great writer even if you don't have that quality? No. But just because you have that quality, does it make you a great writer? Not necessarily, right? John is really saying, hey, if you're a great writer, you explored a theme deeply. He's not saying if you explored a theme deeply, then you're a great writer, right? The second conditional statement does not follow from what he's saying. We can't say that. So C also does not work. D, if the subject matter in Favilla's writings were exceptionally varied, she would not deserve to be considered a great writer. So, does not having varied writing ban you from becoming a great writer? No, it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be a great writer. John is just saying, hey, even if you don't have that diversity in subject matter, you can still be a great writer. That's what John's saying, right? So D also is not a great answer choice for that reason. E, if Favilla's writings show no evidence of a distinctive style, she does not deserve to be considered a great writer. So no evidence of a distinctive style. John never talks about distinctive style, right? Muriel's the one that talks about distinctive style. She says no matter how distinctive her style might be. So we don't know what John's thoughts on E are. So we can cross that out as well. So A would be our answer here for 23.